Hi, Year 9. Okay, welcome to lesson 4 of Changing Places. This is where we're going to start our case study of Jakarta. Okay, so we are going to look at Indonesia. That is the country that Jakarta is in. Okay, so we are on number 4, Indonesia, a changing place. As you can see, learning goals basically to identify and describe urbanization patterns in Indonesia. Okay, so we're going to use the PowerPoint to answer questions about Indonesia, okay, to give us an understanding of where it is and make sure that we all feel confident with that. And then you're going to create a photo essay about Indonesia. Okay, so introduction to Jakarta. Okay, so Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia. In 1950, so what's that, 70 years ago, Jakarta's population was 1.5 million and only 15% of Indonesia's population lived in urban areas. By 2015, the proportion of people living in urban areas in Indonesia had increased to 53%, and Greater Jakarta had a population of approximately 28 million people. Okay, so you can see big changes there. In the upcoming lessons, we will be exploring the growth of Jakarta's urban areas and the impact this has had on the people, the economy, and the environment. Okay, so let's move on. And here is a picture of Jakarta. Okay, so let's move on to task 1. Use the PowerPoint to help complete the questions below. You will notice I have put in brackets for you where to find the information. Okay, and I'll talk through it with you as well. Okay, so first question we are going to be doing is to describe the location of Indonesia. This should include the continent it is in and any surrounding oceans and countries. Hint, hint, use the maps on slides 2 to 4 to help you do this. Okay, so let's get going. Okay, so introduction to Indonesia. All right, so this is slide 2. So Indonesia. Okay, so Indonesia is one of Australia's closest neighbours. So it's a country here in red. It is located in the Asia Pacific region and is made up of 18,000 islands, of which 6,000 are inhabited. So 6,000 are lived on. There are over 77,000 villages in Indonesia, so you might want to start writing the description of where it is. Right now, it's in the Asia Pacific region. You might want to say it's just to the north of Australia. Okay, so you could start writing your answer to number 1. Okay, so this is a map that actually shows you in more detail some of the key islands. So we're going to be talking a lot about Java. Okay. So Indonesia has been experiencing rapid rates of urbanization in recent times. Indonesia has the 4th largest population in the world. 256 million people live in Indonesia. 68% of the population of Indonesia live on the island of Java. Okay, so you can do the maths if you want. 68% of 256 million people on a pretty small area. So again, we're still looking um, at this question. Describe the location of Indonesia. You could say that it's made up the number of islands, but you can also use this slide that we're on now to answer this. Approximately how many people live on the island of Java? So you will have to try and work out 68% of 256 million people. So get your calculator up, have a go at that, okay? So here guys, again, this is a map that kind of hones in a little bit more on Indonesia. So on this map, it's in the yellow. So again, you could add more details to number 1 here, describing the location. Okay, you could say that it is surrounded by ocean, such as the Indian Ocean and the Java Sea. That would be really good to do. If you wanted, you could add in the fact that it's just south of Malaysia and Thailand, something like that. Okay, guys, just so you have got a written description of where this place is. Okay, this is slide 4 we're on now, 4 of 6. Okay, so You're going to use this slide to describe how Indonesia's population has changed since 1950. That was already mentioned in the introduction to this lesson as well. Okay, when we're describing things, we're looking to make a point and back it up with an example. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that in a full sentence. Okay, so all right. In 1950, as mentioned already, only 15% of Indonesia's population lived in urban areas, and by 2015, that proportion had increased to 53%. Okay, so it's a big, big jump to a very small percentage of the population living in towns and cities to over half. Okay, Greater Jakarta has an estimated population of 28 million people in 2015 compared to just 1.5 million in 1950. That is a massive, massive increase. Okay. Now I'll explain this. Okay. So its largest urban center is the capital city, Jakarta, with a population of approximately 10 million. So you might be thinking, well, miss, you've just told us it's 28 million. Down here it says 10 million. Well, the key thing is with the 10 million, we're just talking about the center of the city, the urban center. Okay, so that would be like saying that Sydney CBD, the Central Business District, has 10 million people, but Greater Sydney, which would include Leichhardt, Annandale, all the suburbs, is 28 million. Okay, because cities spread out from the center. Okay, so So you could use either statistic, okay, just kind of bear in mind, this is talking about the whole urban area around Jakarta, and this is just talking about the center of the city. Um, anyway, then Jakarta, you can see, is 10 million in the center. That's followed by the cities of Surabaya, Bandung, and Medan. So these are the next three largest cities. You can see that they're actually a lot smaller than Jakarta, okay? And if you have a look at this map, this is the island of Java that we looked at before. Here is Jakarta over here. Okay, then you've got Surabaya here, and then you've got Bandung here, and then Medan is up here. So 3 of the 4 largest cities are on this pretty small island. Okay, so what I would do for this, guys, if I was you, I would say in 1950, Indonesia's urban population was at 15%. You might want to add in Jakarta information as well. Okay, you can do that. And then I would put, whereas by 2015, 53% of the population lived in urban areas. Okay, so I've described how it's changed by using key stats. Okay, so I'll just delete that because if you want to write your own, you can. All right, so fourth question, how does Indonesia classify a place as urban? Hint, slide 5. So urban is a very broad definition. What does Indonesia say counts as urban? So Indonesia classifies a place as urban if it meets the following requirements. Population density is at least 5,000 people per square kilometre. Okay, so Indonesian government says you need to have 5,000 people living in a square kilometre for it to be urban. You also need to have less than 25% of households work in the agriculture industry, farming. Okay, agriculture is farming. And there needs to have where there are 8 or more basic facilities, e.g. schools, hospitals, banks, factories. Okay, so that's how Indonesia classifies it. Okay, so you can jot that down here. Okay, and then just to show some understanding of population density. Okay, so this is number 5. The urban centre of Jakarta is roughly 700 square kilometres, and an estimated 10 million people live there, remember, in the urban centre. What is the population density of the centre of Jakarta? So we need to understand what is meant by population density. Okay, so and how it's worked out. So, like I've just said, the population density of an area is the number of people in that country or in that area. So, the number of people divided by the area in square kilometers or miles by the land area. So, give you an example, the population density of Greater Sydney is 430 people per square kilometre. So I'm going to ask you guys to do, again, a little bit of maths, 2 maths questions here, is use this information to work out the population density in the centre of Jakarta. So basically, I've given you the information about Sydney, because if you ever think Sydney is crowded at 430 people per square kilometre, see if you can work out, and it's not very difficult maths, the population density in the centre of Jakarta. So you're going to have to do number of people, 10 million, okay, divided by 700. Okay, so see what answer you get there. All right, and then guys, what we're going to do is PQE again. So we've already spoken about the fact that Java, okay, is the most densely populated area of Indonesia, as you can see. Okay, this map is on here as well, okay, on the last bit of the slide, but I'm looking in here. So, as always with a map, you need to look at the key, okay, its title is down here, population density of Indonesia. The blue is densely populated, so you can see there's some blue when we zoom in. So this is zoom in of this part of the map, and there's lots of red and orange on Java, and the lighter you go, the less people there's living every square kilometer. So I want to see how well you can answer these questions. Okay, what type of map do you think this is? So that's going back to previous geographical knowledge. How many cities in Indonesia have a population of basically 1 to 2 million? So you're going to have to look at the key and look at that map. Okay, and again, use the map to complete the PQE table. We've already done one of these this week. Okay, so pattern. Okay, so you could definitely talk about the fact that Java is the most densely populated island. Okay, you're going to need to quantify that. So you maybe would want to tell me how densely populated Jakarta is in the blue, or you might want to say the west of this island has between 1,000 and 2,000 people per square kilometre. Okay, so try and quantify it. And then in an exception, I'm going to give this one to you guys. Really, if you look, there's exceptions, you might want to mention how there are some other areas with dense population on other islands. Okay, and you will want to go back to the first map to say what this island is. Okay, again, do your best with this, guys, okay? I just want to see how you're going. I understand it's not easy by yourself. Give it a go, that's all I ask. Okay, and then this second task is hopefully a bit of fun, but also just so you understand the country that we're talking about a little bit more. So I'm going to ask you to find 5 photos of Indonesia and write a caption describing the photo. These photos should reflect a variety of different things about Indonesia. I've given you some ideas here, but really kind of go with it. Anything you'd want to find out about Indonesia. Basically, is a little introduction to yourself, okay? Don't worry about referencing where you found the images. Okay, so I've done the reason I've given you 5 to do is I've given you one as an example. So this will be my photo, okay, and this is my caption to go with the photo. The island of Bali is famous for its majestic natural landscapes and beautiful temples, making it a popular tourist destination for Australians, okay? So have a go at finding 5 photos that cover a variety of things, basically so I can look at this and I can know, okay, they've got a bit of an understanding of what Indonesia is like as a country, okay? As always, guys, if there's any questions, make sure you're asking on Edmodo. And if you get stuck on any of these questions here, okay, like I said, give them a go, all right? I'd rather see you have a go and maybe get it wrong rather than just not attempt it, because otherwise, if you do that, I'm not sure what you're misunderstanding, okay? All right, guys, well done, and I will see you next lesson. Thank you. Bye.